Richard, welcome again to another episode where we talk about the top quarterbacks.
Glad to be here. All right.
Before we get started, we always like to kind of review how we did from week 4 the week before, and we got 19 of 21 quarterbacks correct. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
The reason why it's 19 of 21, we picked 24 quarterbacks, but of those 24, because again, we do this very early in the week, we had Ben Roethlisberger, Cam Newton, and Ryan Tannehill, who didn't play. So then of the remaining 21 quarterbacks, we got 19 correct. So boom, 19 of 21. That's pretty good.
And before we get started, I want to remind everybody that they can subscribe to this channel and comment any questions they might have of our top QB rankings. Richard or myself will be happy to reply to as many as we can to kind of help you set your lineups. All right, let's get started for the top 24 quarterbacks for week 5.
And number 1, we have Patrick Mahomes, who will be home against Las Vegas. What can I say? Best quarterback in the league. We're going to take him here at number 1. Number 2, Lamar Jackson, who will be home against Cincinnati. Lamar Jackson, he had a pretty good week last week. Overall, through the season, not what everybody expected, but because of his legs, he's got a good matchup. The legs, we got to put him at number 2. Number 3, Russell Wilson, who will be home against Minnesota. And number 4, we have Dak Prescott, who will be home against the Giants. The issue here is that the Giants don't score as much, so I don't think Dak is going to have to pass for that many yards this week. What do you think about Dak, Ryan?
Prescott passed for 502 yards and 4 touchdowns last week. Although they're playing the lowly Giants, they do have a good defense. I think he's still going to need to play well to win. I know that sounds crazy. And let's just go ahead and say it right here that Dallas is going to need to pay Dak Prescott going into the next season.
Absolutely. Pay that man his money.
Cha-ching.
Number 5, we have Josh Allen at Tennessee. Josh Allen's been great all season. Tennessee is not a pushover, but you got to keep Josh Allen in the top 5. Number 6, Deshaun Watson home against Jacksonville. He just lost his head coach, but I like the matchup, and hopefully they're going to free him. Free Deshaun Watson. Is he finally going to have a breakout game, Ryan?
This one is up in the air. I think losing your head coach and all the pressure that's put on him, I still don't think he's going to be playing well. But you're going to have to start him in fantasy just because the upside's too valuable.
And number 7, we have Kyler Murray, who's got a great matchup at the New York Jets. And number 8, Ben Roethlisberger, home against Philadelphia. So Big Ben had a week off. We'll see how he comes back. I think he's going to come back and do very well. Number 9, Drew Brees, who's home against the Chargers. Drew Brees, they relied on the run a lot this week, but he's got a good matchup. He has people, Kamara, who he can dump a 2-yard pass to, and he can take it to the house. So we're going to keep Drew Brees in our top 10. Matt Ryan is at number 10. He's home against Carolina. He's got a good matchup. He's got those great receivers, but now Julio Jones may not play. So we'll see. But we have Matt Ryan at number 10. And number 11, Teddy Bridgewater, who is at Atlanta. That Atlanta defense, wow. But Ryan, you have more on that.
I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to have a blockbuster game. Playing against Atlanta, who's obviously been in multiple shootouts. That pass defense is ranked 31. If you got Teddy Bridgewater, I'd definitely start him, but I think he's going to be high up on your list.
Number 12, we have Jared Goff at Washington. The Rams, didn't have a great game against the Giants, surprisingly. But that's still a good offense. Jared Goff is still allowed to pass a lot. So we're going to keep him in our top 15 here. And number 13, we have Justin Herbert at New Orleans. What else can you say about the rookie? I mean, he's been great. I mean, so far, both Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert have been good, which, makes you wonder, hey, when are the Dolphins going to throw out Tua, right? But I think it's going to come soon. But at 13, we have Justin Herbert, who will be at New Orleans. At 14, Derek Carr, who will be against Kansas City. This is going to be – there aren't that many shootouts this week that I can see, but this is one. Kansas City, Vegas, I think both teams are going to put up a lot of points. At number 15, we have Tom Brady at Chicago. Tough defensive matchup, but all Tom Brady did was throw 5 touchdowns last week. What do you think of Tom Brady, Ryan?
Well, he had a stellar game, 369 yards, 5 touchdowns. I think Tom Brady is going to have a roller coaster of a season. I don't think he's going to have another game like that. I think you're going to see some games where he's going to be the old Tom Brady. Some games he's going to look like a 40-year-old Tom Brady. I think this is the game against that number 9 Chicago pass defense. He's going to regress a little bit. So I look forward to this matchup to see how Tom Brady does.
At number 16, we have Joe Burrow, who has a tough matchup at Baltimore. But Joe Burrow has thrown for over 300 yards the last 3 weeks. I expect him to continue to at least be close to that number. And that's why I'm putting him here. At number 17, we have Gardner Minshew, who will be at Houston. Good matchup for Gardner Minshew. He's been not so good. I think a little overrated. He did pass for 300 yards last week. We're keeping him at 17. At 18, Phillip Rivers, who will be at Cleveland. Rivers has, he has some offensive weapons. He's been inconsistent. In the past, he's thrown a lot of interceptions. And he's playing at Cleveland, who has been okay, even though they did allow Dak Prescott to throw for 500 yards. What do you say, Ryan?
Phillip Rivers is going to have his game. This is the week to start him, playing against Cleveland, who's been terrible on defense, especially that pass rushing. I like Phillip Rivers this week to be ranked much higher up on that list.
19, we have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is also up against a tough defense at San Francisco. But he has been using his legs and scoring running touchdowns, so that adds to his value. Ryan, what do you have to say about Ryan?
Ryan Fitzpatrick, I know you've liked him last week. He's been moving up the list. This is where Ryan Fitzpatrick will fall apart, playing against San Francisco's defense, going to the West Coast for the first time. I don't like this matchup. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick will not be on the top 24.
And number 20, we have Ryan Tannehill, who is home against Buffalo. Tannehill also had a week off. We'll see how he rebounds. Buffalo puts up a lot of points, and Tannehill might have to pass more than he usually does to try to keep up. And number 21, we have Kirk Cousins, who will be at Seattle. Kirk Cousins, another quarterback, hasn't passed for much this season. They've relied more on Dalvin Cook in the run. But he may have to pass a lot. Well, he's going to have to keep up with Russell Wilson. So Kirk Cousins could put up decent numbers this week. And number 22, Carson Wentz, who has a difficult matchup at Pittsburgh. You keep wondering, when is Wentz going to turn it around? But based on the other QB options that are left, we figure he's good enough to be in the top 24. And number 23, we have Nick Foles at home against Tampa Bay. Tough matchup for Nick Foles, and he looked terrible last week. And the question is it a QB issue? Before it was Mitch Trubisky, now you have Nick Foles. Is it QB issue, or is it something to do with Matt Nagy and Bill Lazor? I mean, is that offense a little dysfunctional? We'll see. And number 24, we have Daniel Jones, who has been pathetic this year. He's been very, very bad, but he's playing at Dallas. Probably the worst pass defense in the league. I mean, everybody's had a field day against the Cowboys. So we're including Daniel Jones here just in case he does throw over 300 yards, which is a probability. So that's it. That's it for our top 24 for this week.
All right, Richard. Well, we thank you for coming on here and sharing your top 24 QB rankings. And most importantly, that you're giving the advice on the comment section of this YouTube channel. So I appreciate you doing that as well.
No problem, man.
All right.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, good luck to you in fantasy football this week.
All right. Same to you and same to everybody. Good luck.